Mark here with DIY Wise. Today we're going to install a new washing machine. Mine went bad here, so I picked up a new one. New Whirlpool. I had a Samsung here. It's a piece of garbage, but we won't go there. The first thing you're going to want to do, you're going to want to find the power source. We got the plug right there. We're going to go ahead and get this unplugged. Next thing you're going to want to do is find a water source for the hot and cold. I have a single lever valve here that I installed for a washing machine. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. You may possibly have a couple single hose bibs for each one of these. It could be a bunch of different ways, but you're going to want to make sure you shut both of those off. Now also, just because this is off doesn't mean these valves will work. So you want to make sure you know where a backup valve is, maybe to shut off to the line going to that, or the shut off to the main house in case this starts to leak whenever we loosen these. You want to make sure you're able to shut the water off completely. Grab myself a pair of channel locks here. Just gonna loosen this up. That one's loose. You can also use a pair of channel locks, crescent wrench, pipe wrench, anything you can get. Get both of those off and get them out of the way. Next, you're going to have the drain hose. The drain hose obviously comes out of the back of the washing machine and it puts the dirty water into your laundry tub. Or some systems, this will go directly into a piece of pipe behind your washing machine or alongside of it, right down into the drain. I have mine zip tied here. I'm going to go ahead and get a pair of side cuts and cut those off here. And if you see this hose here, this is a hose that I have for my condensate pump for my furnace. I have it running over into here also. So I'm going to have to cut these off also. Take and remove this drain hose now. Everything is free. And make sure your electric is disconnected. Your washing machine hoses are disconnected. Your discharge hose is disconnected. Alright, so the next thing we're going to want to do, we're going to want to get the unit out of the way. Just have to, it's a tight spot, so you just have to wiggle it out of there in this case, but work it out of there. You just grab it, tilt it forward if you're not worried about damaging, dragging it out of there. Look back here, make sure everything is free. I'm not worried about this getting damaged, so I'm just going to take these hoses, stick them in there. Okay, so we made sure we cleaned everything out behind the washer and the dryer. That way there's no fire hazard or anything, and get everything cleaned up from the lint and dirt or whatever else might have fell back there. On the back, we're going to want to connect the cold and the hot connection now. You're going to want to pick up two stainless steel hose connections. I picked up two 60-inch. They make them 48-inch. They make them various sizes, whatever length works for you the best. You're going to have rubber gaskets inside here. You don't want to reuse your old ones. The gaskets will go bad. You don't want it to leak when you're not home or something and cause a flood in your house or something. So they also make rubber ones. I would not use the rubber ones. They're not as strong as the stainless steel ones. They crack, they split. These are a lot better. So we will go ahead, get this started on the cold side. Be careful not to cross thread it. Just get it on there loosely. Do the same for the other side. Alright, so we got these on here. Snug those up here and tight. Grab your channel locks. I'm going to turn these about halfway That's a quarter turn right there. That feels pretty snug actually. Alright, I just went about a quarter turn to a half turn on those. You can always tighten them up, but you don't want to over tighten them. We can always tighten them when we run our first load to make sure it's not leaking. And you'll want to take note, this electrical connection, it's right here. I could pull it right out after I push the unit back. Okay, so now you'll want to get your discharge hose. It's got this squeeze type hose clamp on it. It's got the connection right down here. I'm gonna slide this over top of it, squeeze this hose so it goes down over it. Get this close to the angle you want it at. Push it back on there a little bit. Get your pliers. Squeeze it tight. Push the hose back on. You're going to want to make sure that hose goes all the way back. Leave that hose clamp out a little bit here where it's loose. Make sure it's where I want it at the angle. Get your clamp on. Get it close to where it's going to go. Get a different grip on it here. Make sure it is over top the rubber hose and inside this groove area. Nice and tight. We're good to go. Make sure you got this hose out of the way and we're good to push the unit back in place. Before we get the unit back there too far, we don't want to slide it all the way back. We want to go ahead and hook up the connections. Make sure you put the hot side to the hot and the cold to the cold. We're going to do the same thing we just did to the back. That is the hot. This is the cold. So we got these hand tight. Now we're going to snug these up a little bit more. About a quarter turn there. About a half turn. A little bit past halfway. Snug this one up the same way. We can always snug these up too after the water's running to make sure they seal. Now I'm going to reach this hose. Okay, now we're going to want to go ahead and get the discharge hose in place. I drilled a couple holes here. There's a hole here and a hole there that I had my zip ties through for my other one. Get that close to where it's going to go. I'm going to reach back here, grab my electrical cord now. Feed it behind my discharge hose. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in before I push the unit all the way back. Okay, now once you get it in place, there's leveling legs on the bottom of this, so you're going to want to make sure it's sturdy and level. So we got the leveling legs down here. I just need to adjust this one. We got the unit leveled with the leveling legs. So now I got my discharge hose. Place it where I want it in the laundry tub. Feed these where you want them. Get this situated however you want it, where you want it. Get the other zip tie situated the way I want it. Cut off this excess so it's out of the way. I have the discharge hose mounted down there so it doesn't come loose. Before you turn the unit on, you go to use it, you're going to want to peel off all the film and all the stickers and everything. We have all the protective film peeled off of the unit now. Electric is plugged in. Discharge hose is connected. Last thing we're going to do, I'm going to turn on the water. I'm going to check here, make sure there's no leaks. If it's a slight drip, I'll just tighten it up a little bit more. And I'll also check behind the unit. After complete installation, please be sure to read your user's manual for proper operating instructions. This is Mark from DIY Wise. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.